Hello, Rosie here. I've been receiving requests for stretch poses, so we're going to do our first stretch pose together today, known as seated jackknife pose, a wonderful lower body stretch. I absolutely adore stretching. It's something I've been doing for most of my life, and it's an extremely important part of my daily routine. Having said that, I'm also very aware it's probably the easiest way of damaging or injuring yourself. So there are some extremely important safety points that must be taken into account whenever you stretch, and I will go through those points with you as we do our pose. But the first one to say to you right now is you should be warm. If you're not warm, please don't do the stretch. Wait until you are. The jury is still out as to whether it's better to stretch before a workout or after. I get around that point simply by stretching both. I stretch before and after my daily routine. So let's get going with this pose known as seated jackknife. You start with both legs straight out in front of you. Feet are flexed, toes to the ceiling. Lovely straight legs, shoulders back, tailbone out, and a good long neck as well. So you're in the shape with the letter L. First thing we do is to bend the right knee and place the foot flat on the floor, heel level with your knee. Your left hand holds around the knee and your right hand close to your body on the floor behind you, so you're not leaning backwards. Straighten your right arm to make sure your back is as straight as possible as well. And now turn your body as far as you can to your right hand side. Now you take a deep breath in, expanding the ribcage as you do so, and long slow breath out, contracting the abdominals. Again, deep breath in. Long slow breath out, a couple more of these, and while you're doing that, let me remind you the right leg is bent, the left leg is straight, you're holding around the right knee, keep that turn in your body. One last deep breath. Long slow exhale. Well done. Release the right knee and turn to the front. Now, still with the knee bent, you just let the knee drop out to the side. Take hold of the right foot and draw the heel up toward the groin, letting the sole of the foot run down the inside of your left thigh. Allow the right knee to drop as close as it wants to go to the floor. If at this point you're feeling any discomfort in that knee, see if that discomfort is eased by taking the foot a little lower down. That is fine. Remember to tweak or adapt every movement of every pose to make it work for you as the individual that you are. It's so important. Fingertips now go onto the floor. What we're about to do is to fold the body over the straight leg. I just want to show you what not to do first, because it's so easy to just round the spine and drop the head down. Because once you've done that, you come out of a good position. You're not actually going to stretch at all. You're actually going to stress out the pelvis. So the back is straight, fingertips on the floor, leading with your chest. And remember, it doesn't matter how low you go. Take a breath in first. As you breathe out, chest down, head up, walk down towards your foot. If you can only walk down an inch or two, stay there, that is fine. If you're feeling the stretch, you've gone far enough to get the benefits. Otherwise, if you're a little bit more flexible, or over time, you'll find you can go a little closer down towards your foot, slowly and gently easing the chest down toward the thigh. What I don't want you to do is drop the head down, because that will encourage your back to become rounded. So you go as far as you can comfortably manage. Stay there. The weight of your body is resting gently on your arms. There's no stress at all in your spine. Deep breath in. Long, slow breath out, and as you breathe out, try and let go of a little bit of tension you may be holding on to. One of the big things about stretching, it's so easy to tense your muscles with the effort, and once you've tensed a muscle, you're repelling your stretch. You have to relax. That is one of the most important aspects of a stretch. Relax. No tense muscles. Deep breath in. So every time you breathe out, try and let go of a little bit more tension. As you do that, you might find your own relaxed body weight will ease the body a little closer to your thigh, but that's done over time, very gently, little by little. We do one more breath here. And by the way, at this point, you should be feeling the stretch in the lumbar spine, beneath the left thigh and knee, but mainly to the outside of the right hip and right thigh. So that's where you should be feeling it the most. One more breath. And again, with the weight of the body remaining on the arms, to protect your back, you simply walk your hands back up. The next stage of this stretch, lift your right foot and cross it over your left thigh. Pull the foot as high as you can towards the left hip and let the outside of the foot rest on the floor. Everything else remains as we've just done. It's a strange thing that just crossing that foot over the leg in this way will change the whole dynamic of the stretch. It's going to feel very different this time. Be prepared for a strong hamstring stretch. A breath in first, and then as you let that breath out, lead with the chest, walk your hands down toward the foot again. As soon as you get that stretch, and it might be almost immediately, you stop. Stop there and breathe. Deep breaths in. Relax a little bit more with every breath out. Don't let yourselves tense your muscles up. Every time you breathe out, release a little bit more tension. And as your body weight increases, as you relax, your own body will increase the stretch for you, but at your own time. That's the beauty of a stretch like this. Your body does it for you. All you have to do is relax in this position. Deep breaths. We are now developing our stretch. That simply means you take the stretch to the point where you feel it. You wait for your muscles to acknowledge that stretch. Any time around now, that might be happening. You might be starting to feel, oh, it doesn't feel quite so tight anymore. And if it does, that is the time to walk your hands away another inch. And as you do that, you bring the stretch right back on again and you focus on your breathing. Same thing, deep breaths in, long breaths out. We are once again waiting for the body to tell us it's accepted the stretch, to that point where it starts to feel, oh, not too bad again. So keep taking deep breaths, long breaths out. Now the beauty of this part of our seated jackknife pose, very strong stretch behind the thigh and a very strong stretch behind the knee where the tendons are particularly tight. So it's a great stretch for them. But the muscles behind the thigh, these hamstrings, they are notorious for being tight. That can lead to problems if you're a sports person. They're very easily damaged muscles. But more importantly, I think, is that tight hamstrings are known to tug on your lower back and on your pelvis. And quite often, if you have a niggly, non-specific lower backache for no apparent reason, it can well be tightness in the hamstrings. So I do advise you to give yourself a good hamstring stretch, not necessarily this one. There are several good hamstring stretches out there. Do it regularly for a nice long period of time. Allow the muscles to get used to the stretch. Muscle memory is quite important for hamstrings. And you might find it makes a big difference to your backache. One last chance now, if you think you can, just to creep those fingertips away half an inch more, developing the stretch a little bit more. This basically means that when you try to do this pose again another time, you might go a little bit lower because the muscles remember where they've been before. Last deep breath. And now very carefully, weight of the body on the arms as always. You walk your hands back up, uncross your right leg. Back into our start position now, straight legs, shoulders back, tail run out, long neck. We now bend the left knee. Place the foot flat on the floor. Right hand over that knee, left hand close to your body on the floor behind you. Straighten your left arm, turn and look over your left shoulder. Keep pulling the knee in. Get as much turn in your torso as you can, trying to get your shoulders and your chest facing your left hand side. Keep the right foot flexed, deep breaths. Deep breath in, expand the rib cage, remember as you breathe in. Contract the abdominals as you breathe out, several more. So here we're getting this wonderful twist into the torso, very important. Any torso twist pose is going to improve your lung function straight away. It's also a lovely toning movement for anyone that wants to firm up their torso. One more deep breath. But we do it, of course, for the lung function benefits. Releasing, turn to the front, let the left knee drop out, take hold of the foot, bring the foot up as high as you can comfortably go to the groin, remember. Sole of the foot running down the inside of the right thigh. Doesn't matter where that left knee is gone. And by the way, if it goes down lower on one side than the other, nothing to worry about. Very normally, we're extremely asymmetric, so never anything to worry about. Sitting tall, fingertips on the floor, remember leading with the chest, a breath in first. As you breathe out, chest down, head up, start to walk toward the foot. The second you feel the stretch, you stop. You wait there, taking deep breaths in, trying to release tension as you breathe out. Just let it go with your air. And as you relax, your stretch will naturally increase. So no need to push or force the stretch. Worst thing you can do. Deep breaths in, long breaths out. So let me just remind you, at this point, you should be feeling the stretch beneath the right thigh and knee, into the lower back, but predominantly in the left hip and running down the outside of your left thigh. Couple more deep breaths. Last one. Weight of the body remains on your arms as you walk your hands up And now once again, we're going to change the whole dynamic of the stretch. Lift your foot, cross it over your right thigh, pull the foot up as high as you can toward the right hip, let the outside of the foot rest on the floor. Keep that lovely flexed right foot, tall body, fingertips on the floor. Now remember, we're leading with the chest, not the head. A breath in first, and as you let that breath out, walk your hands down. This is tougher. Remember, you feel that strong stretch in the hamstrings. The second you feel it, you stop. Deep breath. Long, slow breath out. And again. So remember why we stretch our hamstrings, make them much less prone to injury and damage, and also much less likely to interfere with the lower back and the pelvis. We are waiting for this stretch to feel relatively comfortable. Don't wait for it to feel pleasant. It's never going to feel particularly lovely. When it feels more comfortable, your muscles have accepted that stage, you can walk your hands away another inch. So never bounce, never force, just relax. A couple more deep breaths. You're doing well. By the way, that tightness behind the knees, the ligaments there we're stretching, it does feel extremely tight there. This is a great stretch for them. It's very safe. You're not harming those tendons at all. I keep on saying tendons, they're ligaments, but quite often they're referred to as tendons. Now if it's starting to feel comfortable, you have one more chance just to walk those fingertips a half an inch away again, or an inch or so, never too much, just until you feel that stretch. Be refreshed, and then you focus on your breathing again. So we are developing our stretch, allowing the muscle a chance to acknowledge every stage. So not stressing out the muscle. We're working on muscle memory so that when we come to do this pose next time, you may go a little further. When it comes to stretching, you have to be regular and consistent. There's no point in stretching once a week. If you want to get somewhere with your flexibility, you have to stretch every day or every other day. Take it gently, never rush it. Deep breaths. And also hold your stretch. Allow the muscles a chance to really get used to the movement. Some stretches are done too quickly, I think. And we're ready now to come out of that. Oh, you feel the muscles when you're coming out of a stretch, don't you? Both legs straight out. The final part of our seated jackknife is known as a hairpin bend. We're just literally going to fold the body over the legs. Now, I don't expect anyone to go right down to the legs. You go as far as you can. Always a good start position. That way you're much more likely to end up in a good end position as well. Legs are straight, feet are flexed, shoulders back, tailbone out, long neck. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, just walk your fingertips down a couple of inches and stop. So remember, what we're trying to do is come down with the chest, not with the head. Another breath in. As you breathe out, see if you can come down a little lower. Stay there. Never rush a stretch, remember. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, maybe down a little bit lower. And when you feel you've reached your maximum, you hold it there. Now you feel your knees maybe are really wanting to bend here. If they want to bend, let them bend a little bit. Never force the legs to stay straight and stretched. Let them bend a little bit. As you become more flexible over time, you'll be able to keep the legs straighter. Just a few more deep breaths here. I don't expect anyone to go too low. And remember, really avoid the urge to round the spine and drop the head. Head up so your back remains relatively straight. It's the chest that comes down toward the thighs. Let's just take one more deep breath here. Long, slow breath out. So the final stage of seated jackknife is actually known as a seated forward fold. Over time, you'll be able to fold your body straight over the legs. Nice straight spine, straight legs as well. That'll take a little bit of time to get there. I can't do it myself yet. But that was our seated jackknife pose. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope I come and see you again soon. Take care.